Children's Theatre of Madison was founded in 1965 by Nancy Thoreau, Jean Riley, and Marianne McHugh. It has been an integral part of the Madison community ever since. Founder Nancy Thoreau describes the origins of this remarkable theater.
I belong to Zeta Phi Eta, which is a professional speech and drama theater group. They were starting children's theaters all over the country, the Zetas. The Chicago groups were at Northwestern were the ones, Winifred Ward. She advised us right away. She said, do the Land of the Dragon. You can't fail with the Land of the Dragon. And so that's the first play we did. And Carrie Rasmussen and Gertrude Burley, some of the others, worked teaching drama in the schools here, which they had extra classes for that, the way they have music now. And they stopped. They decided they couldn't afford the drama anymore. And so the schools withdrew drama from the public schools. And we were so upset, all the Zetas. And all those women who taught in the drama program were Zetas. So when that was dropped, we thought there's now nothing for the kids because we didn't have a program, no plays were being done. And so Jean Riley, who's one of the Zetas, and the other ladies I just mentioned, and I started meeting. And we started planning to have a theater. And that was in 1965. We had many meetings, having lunch and talking about what we were going to do. And so we decided on Land of the Dragon. We knew it was something that the city needed because we had to add performances. Everything sold out, and we had to add performances right away. So there was a need here then. And so all of us were very thrilled that it was the right thing to do, to start that theater. A.A. Milne was a genius. Winnie the Pooh, you have to use his language. Each of his characters has a personality that comes through in the way it's written. And you want the audiences to enjoy those people. We did it for years and years. I adapted it so we could do it anywhere. So we could travel around, and I made it, instead of a theater in the round, the kids were the round, and we were the theater out around the edges. And so I had the various houses of the various characters in Winnie the Pooh on every wall in a big gym or any big room in a school or somewhere in the community. And the kids loved it because they were close and could touch the characters. One of my favorite shows was Cinderella, when I got to be the stepmother, the wicked stepmother. I had such fun. We did that. We had 2 boys for the stepsisters because I had a friend who had a theater in London, and he did English pantomimes there in London, and he thought it would be wonderful if we did an English pantomime here. It's not pantomime at all, it's just the stepdaughters are men, and the prince is a woman with long, beautiful legs. And then I had a wonderful man for my husband, who was Greg Brumfield. So I had such a good time pushing those 3 guys around the stage, literally and figuratively both. I had been directing The Nutcracker for T. Borzana and the ballet company. And so I knew that Christmas time was a good time to do a play and sell a lot of tickets. be assured of a success. And so I did an adaptation of Christmas Carol then, and it did sell out right away. It was such a success that we had to keep adding performances, and we added so many performances that we were doing 40 performances of Christmas Carol. And we finally decided this is it. We can't add any more. And Don Robinson was a great Scrooge. I was very fortunate because I had known him in college. He was a lot older than I, but I took some graduate courses with him, and he was in the class. And so when I decided to do Christmas Carol, I drove across town to Monona Grove High School, where he was teaching, and asked him if he would play the lead. And he did, and said yes. And he said yes to many years of doing it. It was the first play I later directed when I started directing full-time for CTM.
A Christmas Carol has been the artistic centerpiece and foundation of this company for over 30 years. In February of 2006, when I heard the company was going to suspend production operations, I called and said, "Don't give up A Christmas Carol. It's what will give this company a chance of coming back." I felt I could help. I agreed to direct it, produce it, and put together the budget for it. It was a success, it put CTM back on its feet, and we've been staying steady on ever since.
I just saw Roseanne's production of Degas' Little Dancer, and I thought it was wonderful. I loved it. I didn't want it to end. Young people need to be acquainted with the theater art just as much as music or ballet or any of the arts. It's very important for the young people to be educated in the theater and to learn to appreciate it. That caused me to start a summer school. The teachers from some of the schools used to say to us, "What do you do to them over there?" And that was it. We taught them to focus. You learn different techniques, and we liked the Alexander technique, and having them lie on the floor and get to thinking only about the play, whatever the play was. And in learning that focusing technique, they were then very good on the stage. And of course, their grades improved in school because they learned to pay attention, to focus on whatever you're doing at that moment. And that's the truth about life. If you learn to focus all your attention on whatever you are doing at that time, and don't have your mind wandering all over the place, you're ready to do outstanding work on whatever you do. Paying attention and concentrating. The kids have been quite successful in the theater, a lot of them, but they've also been successful in business and school. I wanted them to learn world literature because a young mind, this child has this lot of blank space to write on, and so I wanted things to have literary value because they'd be memorizing those words, and that with that young mind, it's there forever. As anybody knows that has memorized poetry as a child, it never goes away. It's always there. And so we always did good theater. One child said to her mother, "Well, I know I did well, Mother." As I heard Nancy's voice in my head all the time I was talking. I was more thrilled by some of the drama school productions than by the season productions, in that it was just a thrill to see the kids do so well. I think it's so very important and such a asset to Madison. Our theater programs are, it makes it special to live here. And I have heard that from parents of people who have received jobs at other universities and have had to leave Madison, and how hard it was to give up CTM, to leave the Children's Theater.
Working with the kids has been a surprise and a delight. They really teach us as much as we teach them. Summer Drama School is a fabulous program. Its format has gone unchanged because it works. It's amazing what these kids accomplish in 3 weeks and how much they grow as individuals. CTM does year-round classes in our studio. We offer after-school programs. We do educational outreach. We train young people in the art and craft of theater, but they really come away with so much more. Improved self-confidence, what it means to form community. They find their own voice. These are life skills.
I think it's off to a great start. I'm really pleased with, as I told you, the understanding of how to keep a theater alive that Roseanne has. You have to be fiscally responsible in this time, any time in the theater. And we know it's very hard at this time with what's happening with the economy, that's very, very important. And so people who give money to CTM can be confident that we won't go under. And the choices are so important. And Roseanne has some great ideas for the future, and that she's been looking at and now planning this season. And so we have to be around. And we don't want anything to happen to the theater. We know that people love it and that it is a need here in this community. And I think that's one of the reasons that it's so good for young people and that people like it so much, like doing plays, because you're trying to make them reach their potential, do the very best work they can. And everyone wants to do his best, really, in life. It's a great joy to help people reach, each one reaches potential in life. That's where it makes them happy, and it makes you happy. So it's a very happy affair. My mother used to say, my mother was a big influence on my life, as well as Jane Porter, but give to the world the best you have, and the best will come back to you. And that's the truth. You give your best work, and the best will happen.
And I believe the best is yet to come. Of course I do. That's my job. To keep moving the company forward, to grow in a healthy and steady way, to expand our audience, and to be proud of all we do. CTM is Madison's premier theater for all ages. I'm honored to be part of its legacy.